guys, this is Eve. Thanks for tuning into my channel. This channel is dedicated to exploring various topics of the metaphysics, looking at them from a very occult standpoint. I'm out here in Vegas today. It's sunny as usual here in Vegas. And so I don't know, was that my car? Did I actually hit the horn? But anyway, I just really, I don't know, have some stuff to get off my chest, and maybe other people are feeling it as well. It's very difficult for me to my consciousness to be spiritual and also physical. So you can say like my consciousness is very much in purgatory. And so people don't really disclose to you, but when you are ascending, and you like ascending to your crown, right to your pineal, and then to your crown, but to your pineal, and you really see, you get insight, right? So you're not just experiencing the world by superficial sight anymore. And I'm so sorry, guys, I really look really raggy today. I'm really tired to be honest with you. But anyway, I don't know, hey, take it or leave it. So anyway, I'm doing this because, like, when your third eye is open, right? When people talk about the third eye, your pineal gland opening or whatnot, they don't really talk about a lot of the torture and a lot of the, I guess what you would say, pain and suffering that goes along with it. And so, I really just want to explore, what this really means, right? To open your third eye, to gain access to what they call higher dimensions, or people's auras and stuff like that. So when you encounter people, you don't just encounter them according to what you see as the ego, but it's actually also the aura. Okay, so it's the aura as well. And so everybody has an aura, right? Even family members and stuff like that. Like lately I've been really struggling with my sister's aura. My sister is a very beautiful ego. She's a lot like me. She's very just loving and kind and nurturing, very feminine. She's a very feminine ego. And she is a part of the 144,000. She has a 0.3, her blood type is so rare, it's 0.3% of the world's population. I'm sure she's an AB negative blood type. And she is a fucking genius. My sister is a genius. And so the thing is that, my sister is my best friend, and spending my whole life with her, I never knew that I was in the midst of someone that was like a god, basically. But, looking at her natal chart, her Vedic chart, I see, why there are certain things that I noticed about her that, were inexplicable at the time. But, my sister, like I said, she's really struggling right now, and she's not feeling, well. She's not doing well health-wise. And a lot of the 144,000 aren't. We aren't doing well health-wise, mentally, physically, emotionally. She, what is it? She was just like, I have a really bad back. And so, I just told her, I said, basically, it's your blood type. And if you look at her chart, she has a lot of Mercury, right? There's a lot of Gemini in her Vedic chart. And, she was raised Christian like I was, conditioned Christian. And I like to tell Christians that, astrology is something that the elite definitely, know a lot about. And, I just told her, I was like, your Vedic chart basically explains that you're a very psychological person. And so because she's very psychological, she needs to do a lot to get into her body. You see what I'm saying? Get into her body and really try to get some balance. But it's kind of difficult when you're sick. But, she's extremely, extremely smart. And so my sister as an ego is not the same as this person that she is in the subconscious. You see what I'm saying? She, although she's very feminine and loving and kind as an ego, she's a bitch. she's a bitch in the subconscious. She's not the type of person. Like, I remember one time I was in the hospital and my sister dropped everything and came to my side, and she was like, oh my gosh, sweetie, you know, what can I do for you? You know, and she took care of me and that type of thing. But really, to be honest with you, she in the subconscious is an elitist. She would not, somebody like her would tell me, you know, honey, I sent my assistant to check on you, and I've ordered the, you know, the best doctors or whatever to take care of you, to fly you out to such and such. And so, you know, my assistant will contact me if there's any questions or concerns, and, you know, just contact my assistant. I'll be busy. So she's that type of person. You know what I mean? She's not a real quote unquote nice person, so to speak. So when she goes to sleep at night and when she dies and goes to so-called heaven, her subconscious is different than my sister. And so the reason why I'm making this video is because when you actually, your consciousness rises to your what is it, crown, right? To your crown chakra. Oh, not crown, to your third eye, right? Which is your pineal gland. You really start to just see past like the superficiality of the world, and the people that you knew, you have to kind of in a way say goodbye to them. It's like a death. It's kind of like when your consciousness raises to the pineal gland, it is it's like a death. It's like actually saying goodbye to people, because the way that you see them superficially is not the way that they are. And my sister is just like, you know, a lot of people consider my sister to be a nobody. It's like, oh, she's nobody, you know. Like, my sister worked at a call center for years and stuff like that. But like, the CEOs of companies would come to her and say, hey, you know what, how should we deal with this or do that? And the reason being is because in past lives, she has really truly been a boss. Like, she has truly been somebody that, you know, has the best of houses, the best of cars, the career that, you know, that requires you to be more masculine as a woman, you know what I mean? And to be able to hang with the big boys and that type of thing, you know? So she's very smart, you know, so that's why you can't cover up the God aspect of you. That's why people come to you who are in higher positions seeking, you know, assistance from people like her, because her aura is very masculine. So, you know, like, for example, she came and flew out to Vegas to see me, and I was so excited, because although I live here, nobody really wants to come out to Vegas for some reason. But anyway, you know, I was like, I'm so happy that she came out to see me. And she was, you know, I was like, well, I'll pick you up, you know, whatever. Vegas airport is it can be a little bit confusing, but, you know, I'll be there on time and stuff like that. You know, she's like, oh, it's okay, no worries, you know, I'll walk wherever you are, and I'll wait, and that type of thing. So as her ego is very accommodating, but her subconscious is very masculine. So as she was saying this in the subconscious, my sister would say, you know what, honey, I've been waiting 55.6 seconds. You know, you are 55.6 seconds late. Excuse me. And she would be serious about this. Okay? She would be serious, and she would say, hey, excuse me, dear. And I would say to her, well, you know, what do you have to do in 55 point whatever seconds? You know, I mean, you can't really do anything during that time. You know, if I told her, well, I was late because there was some type of traffic stop or whatever the case is, she would say, I don't really give a fuck about your traffic stop. You're late, and there's no excuses for you being late. You should have actually left out earlier so you could actually plan for this traffic stop, or whatever the case of, you know, if I had to be late, you know, I had to take a shit, whatever the case is. And so, so reconciling her ego with her subconscious, right, is very difficult for me to live in both worlds. And so I feel like in lots of ways I have to say goodbye to my sister, because, you know, this feminine aspect of her, which is the ego, is a very small, I guess what you would say, portion of who she is, the totality of who she is. So people like us who have these very rare blood types, AB negatives, B negative, O negative, these RH negative blood types, we have horrible deaths. Because basically when we're crossed, right, with the conscious and subconscious are crossed, it's like square and circle scenarios, because of the fact that you can't really integrate the two. The sister that I grew up to love, I call her Ima, which is mother, because I feel like she's more motherly than my mom. It means mother in Hebrew. So to see this person that I grew to know and grew up to love, that's so motherly, and she is not motherly. Like, her subconscious is very much dismissive and just kind of like unfeeling and cold and unemotional. I wouldn't say her aura is like I don't care, but it's kind of like I don't care. I'll find somebody who cares for you, type of thing. And so that hurts, and that's very hurtful to me. And so I just want to put that out there to the 144,000 that, hey, this is what's going to happen to you. And I doubt seriously that there's any video on YouTube that's going to disclose this information to you. Or what have you. Lots of people, whatever, I see them and they're like, I love my wife, or I love my children and stuff like that. But really, you have to ask yourself, like, who is your wife? Who is your wife? If your wife is the type of person that's very loving and kind and sweet and accommodating, and she's a good mom, and, she's always there by your side and supports you in whatever you do, then that's very feminine. And so that means that that person is very masculine, or what have you, in the subconscious. And so if you were to gain access to that person's subconscious, then you would probably likely not like that person, especially if you're very masculine yourself. And vice versa. If you're a very masculine man, then you are very much a woman in the subconscious, very feminine, very accommodating, very loving, very kind, just very nurturing and that type of thing. And so, basically it causes issues, because when you actually cross dimensions, right, from the physical into these higher dimensions, you will start to really notice that you don't have any allegiances to anyone. No allegiances like to your family, your children. That's why when you get reincarnated, you have different wives, different kids, different life, whatever the case is. Like, everything becomes like more relative, right? As opposed to black and white, the way that we as human beings, well, I'm not really human, right? But as most human beings actually see it. So I don't know. I just want to put that out there. If anybody has any questions about it, please ask. There's a lot of prerequisite knowledge that you have to have to be able to understand the stuff that I'm saying, because it's not very worldly information. Everybody has an aura. Every time you're born here, you get what they call, quote unquote, mark of the beast. So the mark of the beast is pretty much the you that is birthed from restriction under the law. So your soul, or your solar plexus, which is Jesus in the occult, right? That gets diminished, okay? Because your solar plexus is responsible for your will and your creativity. And so here in this realm, they take away our will with rules and laws. You can't do what you want to do. They take away our creativity, because you have to buy, like, you have options. You can't create your shoes. You don't have the time or money to do that. You don't have Saturn, which is Satan. So that's the planet of manifestation. So the thing is that because you keep getting reborn here so many times, it creates what you would call an aura. And so eventually that aura becomes a beast if you keep getting reincarnated. So this is your subconscious. So the thing is that people that are 144,000, we have really huge subconscious auras, or whatnot, polarizations, I should say. So the ego becomes more feminine, and the in some cases, I should say, the ego becomes more feminine, but the subconscious becomes more masculine. And so we meet the cross, and we die mentally, physically, and emotionally, because of the fact that we can't really integrate ourselves. We don't know ourselves. It's like an alien, basically. So I don't know if that makes sense or what have you. But I really challenge you, if you do have Rh negative blood, to really, look into yourself and look into other selves, and to be okay with letting go of maintaining your physical existence, but also letting go of the fact that you can't necessarily hold on to the superficial, aspect of people that you love. Okay. um Everyone's a part of this system, and people will do anything to uphold it. And that means even the people that you love and care about, right? Nobody wants you to be out of the system, right? So it's sad. But yeah, your mom, dad, sister, brothers, whomever, they'll do anything to maintain, I guess what you would say, a level of preventing you from getting out. Okay, so all right, guys, so that's just, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that, or what have you. And I'm going to go take a nap now. I'm so tired. Get something to eat, try to ground myself a little bit, and I'll see you in my next video.